Now, what the fuck?
You may recognize this man. His name is Yakub. Or Yakub. Or Yakub. Or Yakub. Or Yakub. He lived 6,600 years ago, and if you are white, he is your father. Not only that,
I'm on that good kush and alcohol.
No, I don't know about this nigga. Who is this?
you're also Greek, but we'll get to that.
What?
Yakub, as we know him, first appeared in the
Why does this nigga look like Megamind? Is this who Megamind was based off of?
writings of Wallace Fard Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam, simplified as the NOI, or NOI, which is an offshoot of mainstream
That's an
Islam
anime character.
with a focus on black nationalism, and was expanded upon by his successor Elijah Muhammad, most specifically in his chapter Making of Devil in his 1965 book Message to the Black Man in America, which outlines the role of Yakub in making the white devil
What does
race.
that have
To get the full picture of Yakub, I would like to share his life story with you.
So you telling me this nigga made white people? Wait, hold on. Why does it sound like a Boondocks episode? Why does it sound like a Boondocks episode? So you're telling me this megamind head ass big forehead boy agent 00 as megamind alien versus predator ass forehead man made white people? That's what you want me to. This is what you want me to believe. This is what we're doing right now. I tell y'all, man, this world is tomfoolery. What is this? Right.
Although the following story is not the same as the original story outlined by the Noi, as it expands upon a few extra plot elements such as the nature of Yakub's origin. This is the most complete story of Yakub I can find, and it is my personal favorite iteration.
Y'all just
The story
believing
of
in
Yakub
anything, huh?
begins with aliens and the Hollow Earth. Thousands
Right.
of years ago, many alien groups came to Earth after leaving their planet.
Okay.
Not much is known about their original planet. We only know that it was destroyed by evil, forcing the aliens to flee.
Nigga, is this Dragon Ball
These
Z?
aliens took up residency within the Hollow Earth, also known as Agartha, as humans were already living on
Agartha?
the surface at this time. These surface humans all belonged to the Ebenoid tribe, and white people did not exist. This was around or before 4600 BC. The alien visitors were able to live in the center of the Earth because there is an inner sun, and from this Hollow Earth they were able to establish great civilizations. The most prominent alien group living within the Hollow Earth were known as the Shiuk. The Shiuk are dark-skinned, large-headed humanoids.
Some nigga that was doing crack in the 70s made this up, and y'all just ran with it, bruh. Nigga got receding. Everybody got receding hairlines. Like, what's going on here? Nobody got a shape up. There ain't no barbers back in this time. He said, Agartha is only for white people, pretty much. It's true, gang. So is Kingdom Hearts, apparently.
Inside these large heads, the Shiuk have oversized and extremely dense brains, making them far more intelligent than your average human. The Shiuk did occasionally interact with the surface humans, and were seen by humans as mystics, prophets, and sages due to their immense knowledge and odd appearance.
So y'all tell me y'all don't believe the moon landing, but y'all believe this shit? Y'all don't believe humans can actually make a rocket ship to go out to outer space? But y'all believe fucking big ass forehead alien monsters with fucking with hairlines longer than Vegeta, and a nigga creating white people? Okay.
The Shiuk had a leader named King Fukor,
Yes.
who had a daughter, Princess Rehia. He also had two brothers, Amo and Yushak. Yushak had a bitter jealousy of his brother, King Fukor. His other brother, Amo, loved and married a woman from the surface, and due to this was exiled to the surface, which is a serious punishment, as remaining in the hollow earth allows the Shiuk to remain practically immortal, whereas banishment to the surface will result in an eventual death from aging, as all humans
Nigga, this sound like an anime.
eventually face. The Shiuk
Actually, no, this sound like a plot for Star Wars. What the fuck?
are not the only alien race in the hollow earth, however, as there is another alien people within the hollow earth known as
What is this? What?
Somebody made that? Somebody made that? Somebody made that? Somebody made that?
So now y'all want me to believe niggas had coneheads? Nigga, ain't this a movie? Ain't this an actual, this is an actual real movie. Now y'all want me to believe in coneheads and big foreheads. Oh, you never see this part of the story? Well, let's lock in then. Fuck it. What is this? There's no way y'all got me watching Yakub. What the nigga sound like a goddamn sound like a goddamn fucking Pokemon, bitch. Yakub, I choose you. Yakub. Like, bro, what the fuck?
If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to...
I don't know why my shit going so slow today. All right. All right, so you're going to start playing or not?
Swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you.
Why did all of the Apollo moon landing crew refuse to swear on the Bible
So why
that
don't you
they
just
walked
put
on the
the-
moon?
Into the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible. Swear to God you walked.
Why the fuck would I want to swear on something that is, ooh, y'all gonna get me canceled. Y'all gonna get me canceled. Y'all gonna get me canceled, boy.
On the moon.
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers.
They believe in this
guys
shit?
going on a flight.
I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get
Damn.
Well, I take your stuff and get the out. Why don't you quote me and say it's
And the shadows in the wrong place. I don't give a damn about all that.
Of lunar orbit being falsified.
being falsified?
Correct. We got an
You know what's crazy? Most scientists are probably more knowledgeable about the Bible than actual real Christians. That's the crazy part, because they have to study the Bible to juxtapose to their to what they actually see. So they like, unironically, they have to read the Bible more than these people do. So they'll probably be the most willingly to be able to swear on the Bible, because they have to read it to see what kind of nonsense you're trying to put up here compared to real science. But that's on me though. They all look like Joe Biden variants. I mean, they all are, you know. What I'm saying? It's definitely a very old field.
edited tape from a source at the Johnson Space Center.
Totally nonsense.
Ooh, yo, that nigga. Nigga. Hey, he said. That nigga said no words. Nigga, you want to box or not? Like, damn, bro. That man pressed his ass.
If you walked on the...
That man pressed his ass. Hey, man. Shout out to my scientists, man. For real, for real. Now let's get back to these cone heads.
Was the Sinine. The Sinine, like the Shiuk, are humanoids with large heads. However, their heads are cone.
You know what's crazy is because we're literally about to do the worst head shapes in cartoons. So maybe this tomfoolery was lined up all along. We're literally about to do this after this.
The Sinine are led by one King Lamsa, who has a daughter named
What the
Princess
fuck
Lucina.
is that?
He also has a
Alright.
son named Prince Atif. There's also a third race living within the Hollow Earth known as the Samin, who are grotesquely fat, human-elephant hybrid creatures that are created from grafting the...
I've never seen this picture a day in my life. I have never seen this.
evil from the Sanin, and due to this relationship, the Sanin people are responsible for quelling and policing the Samin.
Bro, who the fuck made this shit?
One day, the Samin attacked and raided Shiok villages, stealing resources and food. Upon hearing this, King Fucor sent a telepathic message to King Lamsa, telling him that the Sanin were lacking on their Samin wrangling duties and must drive them away from Shiok lands. King Lamsa mobilized quickly and was able to drive out the Samin at Fucor's behest, although tensions between the tribes remained. In order to make peace, Lamsa and Fucor decided to create a marriage pact, marrying Sanin Princess Lucina to King Fucor, and Shiok Princess Rehia to Lamsa's son Prince Atif, which succeeded in creating a temporary peace. However, all was not well in the Agarthan Hollow Earth, as Lucina was deeply unhappy with this marriage arrangement. She felt like an outcast among the Shiok, and hated their laws and people, and had a hatred for King Fucor. You know who else has a hatred for Fucor? That's right, his brother Yushak. For some reason, Fucor seems widely hated. Lucina and Yushak met, and through their shared hatred of Fucor began an affair behind his back. They would meet at Amos' house on the surface to carry out this affair, with Amos seemingly cool with his brother using his house as a sex hotel. And it is at this house where he was born. The man, the scientist, the demon, the demiurge, the father of all albinoids, Yakub.
Albinoids? Nigga, what? Albinoids? No, wait a second. Wait. Albinoids?
Somebody made that?
I'm on that good kush and alcohol.
Yakub was no ordinary child, even for a Shiok or a Sanin, as his head was twice the size of a human's head. Yakub also had 2 brains, doubling his already massive Shiok brain.
What? So the man with his mom is a conehead and his dad is a widehead, so he gets double the brain power
capacity. Yakub himself would not live within the Hollow Earth, as his parents' affair was a great violation of
nigga is so smart he got 2 brains,
customs, forcing the new family to remain on the surface. So Yakub spent his early years
Albinoids are crazy. Albinoids is a funny ass thing, bro. I'm not gonna lie, that shit got me.
Found out about this affair.
Albinoids
and sent his troops to the surface to find the family, and had Yushak arrested.
They just finding ways to call white people something.
Lucina was allowed to live due to her now having a child to care for, but was barred from ever returning to the Hollow Earth. Overwhelmed by these punishments, her new child, and the death of her lover, Lucina committed suicide, leaving Yakub as an orphan in the care of his uncle Amo. Yakub's life is already horrifically tragic, witnessing death and sorrow over things he has no control over, abandoned by his people and scorned by those on the surface. This is where the seeds of crackerdom are first sown. Yakub, traumatized by the death of his parents, develops a deep resentment of the Shiok people, and eventually begins.
So this man seeked revenge by creating white people. This man hates niggas so much, he literally made white people. You can't make this shit up. This shit's funny as hell. Said Mongoloid is a thing? Yeah, but that's not the same as what albinoid? What, like, bro, that's not the same, bruh. That's how they are here today. So the reason why white people exist is the hatred of one nigga. So wouldn't that make white people niggas though? By this logic? If a nigga made white people, then that means white people are niggas. You will see how he created them? Oh, Lord.
Begins to hate all peoples with dark complexions like the Shiok, seeing them all as responsible.
So this is Uncle Ruckus
for his parents' deaths. Yakub begins school at the age of 4, and at school Yakub starts getting bullied for the immense size of his head and his huge ego, hurting his self-esteem and making him hate the Ebenoid peoples even more, and deepening his desire for revenge. At age 6, Yakub, while playing with magnets and observing the laws of attraction and repulsion, gets the idea to create a tribe of people that would exist as the antithesis to the Ebenoid surface humans. A tribe who would be cruel, deceptive, remorseless, and be lacking divinity, being a magnetic opposite of the Ebenoid peoples who are divine, kind, and empathetic. Yakub, floored by this idea, told his uncle, "Uncle, when I get to be an old man, I am going to make a people who shall rule you." Yakub in this moment understood his life's terrible purpose, to make trouble.
I'm gonna be honest, this is way more entertaining than the actual real scientific reason why we all have different pigmentations. Honestly, I actually like this over the real reason, but because this is entertaining as hell.
Spread death and destruction, and be the enemy of all Ebenoid people, a vile demiurge to all those who walk the earth, with an army of demons at his back. In order to accomplish this, Yakub understood that he must become a master of genetics, biology, and science. Fortunately for Yakub, his double brains made him a child prodigy, and he was outperforming all the surface.
Bro, my nigga got twice the processing power in his brain, bro. He was destined to hate niggas, bro.
Humans in school. By age 18, Yakub had completed all colleges.
How come we don't have like a fucking?
While at these colleges, Yakub was mockingly referred to as the.
I'm sorry, I don't know how we don't have like a show about this, bro. You wouldn't tell me, y'all wouldn't be locked into a show like this. This shit would be the most funniest shit of all time. I mean, I guess people will hate it though, cause you know, they definitely would not want a nigga making white people. But, that's either here or there, though. You said, why he say it like that? Wait, what do you say? So you watching it for sure? Shit.
Big-headed
I'm
scientist.
tuned in.
You can probably figure out why. While in college, Yakub developed and began preaching a new religion he created, simply known as tricknology. He also wrote a holy book of tricknology.
That's not real. See, now you're losing me. This nigga made a thing called tricknology. There gotta be a different name for this. There's no way a nigga made tricknology. There's no way.
Called Tricknology 120 Degrees. Yakub promised all those who followed tricknology would eventually come to rule the earth for 6,000 years and have complete dominion over the peoples of earth. While he was ultimately correct in this prophecy, those who followed Yakub at the time were oblivious to the dark truth of the prophecy and Yakub's real plans for them. Tricknology became quite popular as time went by, with many people starting to follow Yakub, as they were deeply impressed with his teachings and immense knowledge. The boys who once bullied and looked down on him now wanted to follow him, and the women who once scorned and mocked Yakub now wanted
they didn't want him. Now he hot. They all on him.
Tricknology became such a powerful movement amongst the surface humans. Even the king of the surface humans became intimidated by the threat it posed and began to persecute the followers of tricknology, throwing all followers of tricknology into prison along with Yakub himself. However, tricknologist numbers had grown too large, and there weren't enough prisons to hold them all. Realizing that he was out of options,
free my
the king
people
went to
now.
Yakub's cell to offer him a deal. So you are Mr. Yakub? Yes, I am. The king then asked Yakub what he would accept in exchange for ending the continued spread of tricknology. Yakub told him that if he provided enough food, materials, and other necessities to build a civilization for 20 years, Yakub would spend that time building up a self-sufficient tricknologist civilization, and after the 20 years, would leave with his followers to distant lands. The king, eager to contain the spread of Yakub's doctrine, agreed to these terms and provided for Yakub and his followers for the 20 years. And when that time had passed, the king loaded Yakub and all his followers onto ships and sent them off into exile. At the time of disembarkment, the tricknologists numbered 59,999, plus Yakub, making 60k total people across 100 ships, about 600 people per ship. Departing near modern-day Mecca, they sailed south through the Red Sea to travel around Africa, heading towards their destination of the Isle of Patmos in modern-day Greece, forcing them to circumnavigate the continent. It was on this long voyage that Yakub began the...
I was about to say, so you telling me this nigga went to Africa and created white people? Now I'm really lost.
Second phase of his plan to create his devil race, beginning at a eugenics and human breeding experiment. Yakub began to favor followers with lighter complexions and began having children with the women in his following. Babies born with lighter complexions were spared, while the darker ones were thrown overboard. Yakub's plan to create an albinoid people was in motion. When Yakub's followers found out about his plan and learned that he was killing babies in a demented breeding program, 95% of his followers lost their faith in Yakub, apparently no longer wishing to follow a giga-brained baby-killing scientist. The now disillusioned followers jumped ship and swam to Africa as they sailed around it, spreading the Ebenoid population across the continent, where they would remain to this day. Only 5% of Yakub's...
So you want me to believe that how Africa was formed is by a bunch of niggas on a boat following this big-headed brain ass nigga, and they found out he was killing babies, so they jumped off and just started their own nations from scratch. That's what you want me to believe. You're a descendant of an Ebenoid, originally from Mecca. Okay.
His most devoted followers remained, leaving only around 3,000 who reached Patmos with Yakub. On Patmos, new king of Patmos, Yakub, established a despotic regime dedicated solely to the creation of his new white race. He set up birth control and Planned Parenthood laws to speed up his eugenics program, commonly referred to as grafting. Only lighter-skinned followers were allowed to have children, and darker-skinned followers were just summarily executed. When a child was born with a skin tone too dark for Yakub's liking, they were killed by having their heads pricked with sharp needles as soon as they were born. However, this wasn't enough for Yakub, as his goal was nothing short of the total annihilation of the Ebenoid peoples. The corpses of the killed babies would be fed to wild beasts, and if no wild beasts could be found to feed the babies to, the babies would just be incinerated instead. Damn. Yakub continued this process for many years, tutoring his grafted offspring to continue his work. Yakub eventually passed away at the age of 150, but his loyal followers continued his work. After 200 years, the followers of Yakub on Patmos had evolved into a red-skinned people known as the Rubidoid tribe. After another 200 years, the Rubidoid tribe had again evolved, this time into a yellow-skinned people known as the Citrinoid tribe. Finally, another
So over 600 years, they just kept on getting darker and darker. Let me guess, they got so dark that it reversed to white.
200 years later, the people on Patmos had evolved into Yakub's desired people, the Albinoid tribe. These Albinoids were inherently wicked and carried the evilness their father Yakub had held his entire life. The Albinoids,
he took his revenge
now
too
fully
far.
ready and imbued with the power of technology, returned to the city where Yakub and his original 59,999 followers had left 600 years ago. In only 6 months, they began causing chaos and war amongst the Ebenoid people. This was around 6000 BC. The king of the Ebenoids knew that these people were of Yakub's creation. It is unclear if this was the same king who sent away Yakub, which would make him well
made
over
these
600 years
creamers.
old.
Hey yo!
The king rounded up the Albinoids and stripped them of their clothing. However, their nakedness was unsightly, so they put some aprons back on them to cover them up. The king's armies then marched the Albinoids across the scorching deserts of the Middle East and into the Caucasus Mountains of southeastern Europe, where they were driven into caves and kept there by bands of patrolling soldiers. The Albinoids lived in the mountains and caves for 2.
So you telling me white people are just skinwalkers is what you're saying? That's what you want me to believe. The Caucasus Mountains. Technically, they're not even from the Caucasus Mountains. Due to this, they had they traveled from that place to go to there, and then now they get drawn this story has so many loopholes in it, bro.
2,000 years. 2,000 years of a brutal, uncivilized existence in the mountains made the Albinoids very beast-like in nature, with them developing wild, inhuman behaviors. They walked around nude, wore animal skins in the winter, and grew hair all over their bodies like beasts. They even befriended the beasts, taming wolves and dogs to live in the caves with them, with dogs even becoming valued family members and best friends of the Albinoids.
So they domesticated animals back in this day? Really? That's what we're gonna okay.
At some point, a group of Albinoids attempted to graft themselves back into an Ebenoid
yes.
tribe. However, this process failed, and the Albinoids who attempted this process became gorillas. As you can see, these
Somebody made that. 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 Somebody made that.
You have werewolf tendencies sometimes.
Albinoids were clearly out of control and were more beast than man. A man named Moses, yes, the biblical Moses, was sent to civilize them. Moses led them out of the caves and attempted to clothe and civilize them. However, once they were out, Moses realized that the Albinoids were too barbaric and beastly, and gave up on them, blowing up 300 of the most unruly Albinoids with dynamite. However, it was too late, and the albinoids had already been unleashed. They killed Moses and began quickly rampaging across the known world, conquering the ebenoid peoples using technology, which used the albinoids' lack of empathy and emotion, along with their natural affinity for lies and deception to bring the world to heel before them, building up their empires of violence, colonizing and subjugating the ebenoids of the world for their own nefarious gains, and inventing machines and tools to cause further death and destruction, thus fulfilling.
So you telling me these niggas... So white people spawned out of a cave in numbers like some goddamn demogorgons, and then just vastly just went out their way to just destroy everything in Europe, is what you're telling me. Didn't Moses have like 1,000 of animals on his boat? I'm pretty sure that was before the prophecy of the flood, if I'm not mistaken. But in this story, basically, Moses got killed. I mean, to be fair, Moses didn't get killed during the flood, though, because the flood never happened. Well, apparently the flood... Well, I don't even remember if the flood happened or not happened. I don't remember the story, but I know he lived after that. But I don't think after that, he went up to some mountains and got killed by a bunch of albinoids. I don't know if that story lines up, but okay. Is that Blade? He was on a boat with animals. Yes, I know that, obviously, but I don't remember if the flood ever actually happened or if it didn't happen. I don't remember. Because actually, no, it did happen. Depending on what book you read. I think it did happen, and that's how they restarted the world or whatever. Because the flood restarted the world, and that's how we got the modern day age compared like in the... I forgot the New Testament shits. If my knowledge, if I remember correctly, that in the Bible, I'm pretty sure it says Moses, the world did flood because Jesus didn't want the world got too chaotic or whatever, so they flood the world and he restarted the world with the population or some shit. Because it was him and some other woman, so it was two of every animal that existed, and then they restarted the world or some shit or whatever. I don't remember. You said you thought Moses parted the sea? Pretty sure he did. But, well, he didn't part the sea. God parted the sea. But, you know, due to his faith, he believed and then he parted the sea. Moses himself didn't do it. God did it for him type shit, you know what I'm saying? It's all made up anyway, but, you know, it is what it is. From what I remember, though. But so now you're telling me this man, Moses, came back, went to the Caucasus Mountains, and then a bunch of white people spawned. A bunch of white people spawned in, or spawned out of the caves, like some damn, like a horde of like fucking wasp, and then just took over the world. That's just what happened? Okay.
Fulfilling Yakub's original promise of 6,000 years of global domination to those who followed him, leading us up to where
Actually, I can kind of believe this, because look at that Mark Zuckerberg. This kind of makes sense.
We are in the modern day. This is just one version of the story of Yakub, however, as Yakub himself has been interpreted in many different ways. One claim is that Yakub is in fact one and the same with the biblical Jacob, as Yakub is the Arabic variant of the name Jacob, and Jacob and Yakub were both leaders of new people, with Jacob being an original patriarch of the early Israeli tribes, and Yakub being the father of the created albinoid tribe.
I'm gonna be honest, I like the first version better, because that would be kind of boring.
Malcolm X even went farther with this interpretation, reinterpreting the famous story of Jacob wrestling with an angel to Yakub wrestling with the king of the ebenoid tribe to secure resources to begin his baby-slaying eugenics trip to Patmos. However, he also goes on to say that the biblical character of John of Patmos is Yakub as well, saying that John was creating a new race on Patmos like Yakub, which obviously...
At this point, this nigga's Uncle Ruckus, like, what the fuck? Like, he could be anybody at this point. Like, what the hell? Bro, I would love to go back in these times just to see if this shit was real. Bro, imagine you actually go see this and you see this nigga Yakub walking around with a goddamn double brain making white people like in a lab or some shit. Yes, we are gonna destroy all them niggas, all them black monkeys. We're gonna destroy them all. Yakub, like, bro, I'm just gonna be videotaping that shit in the background. Yep, gonna need all that, boy. Gonna need all that. Y'all gonna learn that Yakub is the worst. Like, bro, this is not how this happened, bro.
Skates the role of Yakub even further. As to the true origin of Yakub, Ernest
This is
Allen
why I
argues
fuck
that
with
Yakub
Malcolm
may
X.
have been inspired by a real historical event during the conflict between Muslims and Christians over the control of Spain in the 12th century. Muslim leader Abu Yusuf Yakub al-Mansur defeated the Franks at the Battle of Alarcos in 1195.
Y'all think anybody will believe a black man with a double brain created white people? Because we're basically saying white people are literally they're not even they're like, bro, y'all are just literal test tubes creatures. That's what y'all want us to believe? That they're they're fucking like alchemist created people? That's what we on? The Noi did, so I believe it. Okay.
After the battle, 40,000 Europeans were captured and taken to Morocco to work as slaves for Yakub's building projects. After a while,
niggas want to believe everything but actual real science, bro.
In Marrakesh. Another source from Yusuf Nuruddin says that the story of Yakub may have come from the doctrine of the Yacubites, taught by the Moorish.
The Yacubites? I'm not taking this group serious. Y'all are called the Yacubites. Y'all got it.
Science temple, which Fard Muhammad had probably belonged to before starting the Nation of Islam, that teaches that some pre-Columbian civilizations were founded by a West African Moor named Yakub, who had landed on the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yakub does sound evil, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Large-headed race of scientific geniuses, kind of like our friends of the Shiok, which is used as an explanation for why
they do look kind of evil, though.
Heads had African features. It could be possible that this story was adapted to the current story of Yakub by Fard and later expanded upon by Elijah Muhammad. The story of Yakub isn't without its issues, however, even within the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X, as mentioned before, was for a time a proponent and believer in the story of Yakub. However, following his pilgrimage to the Middle East, he rejected the story of Yakub and denounced the teachings of Elijah Muhammad as extremely limited in a form of racist zealotry, which stood against his now traditional and more compassionate Islamic beliefs. Elijah Muhammad's successor, Warith Din Muhammad, rejected the story almost immediately, trying to pivot the Nation of Islam away from the Yakubian story to a mainstream Sunni Islam religion. However, later on,
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like the Yakub story from a movie perspective. I think that would be a fire movie. Deadass, I feel like Jordan Peele can make a movie like this. I can already see that. Like, deadass, this would be a fire movie. This would deadass probably be one of the best movies to ever be made, bro. No, bro. If somebody needs to make shit, I'll make it, bro. Give me a budget, I'll make the movie, boy.
Louis Farrakhan reinstated the original Fard Muhammad.
I want to make this a movie.
Yakubian doctrine and reasserted his belief in the
story. You need to start working on it, bro. I already got the idea. I already know who I'm gonna cast.
The story of Yakub is still put.
KSI. I know KSI got to be Yakub. It's gonna be his biggest shit. I'm gonna have KSI come from a goddamn UFO saying some tomfoolery talking about Yakub. You people shall be cursed. I will make a race of people to take vengeance from my mother and my father. Yakub. Bro, I already see it, bro.
In the story of Yakub, which brings us to today, where the story of Yakub is still put forth by the Nation of Islam as the truth on the origins of the white race created by their great evil father, Yakub, the big-headed scientist.
Why was that actually entertaining, bro? Yeah, I need that, bro. That was a W. This was not on my bucket list of what we were going to do today. That, amen. Yakub. I'm making the Yakub movie. I'm a script a rough draft tonight. I'm gonna try to see if Jordan Peele will want to, help me out. Ryan Coogler, somebody. Martin Scorsese, probably. You know what I mean? Maybe Quentin Tarantino. I don't know. I need a nice. You know what I mean? I would direct this myself, but you know what? I feel like I need to put this in the hands of a nice director. You know what I'm saying? I'm a storyboard the movie. You know what I'm saying? I already got KSI casted as Yakub. I feel like that just makes the most sense. Maybe Brad Pitt. Actually no, I gotta find some new talent. Maybe Austin Butler can be one of the white Demogorgon people. What's that guy from Euphoria that everybody likes? I want that guy too. We'll probably do them too. You know, we need to have some sexy ass niggas in there. Yeah, Jacob Elordi. Yeah, we'll put Jacob Elordi. Austin Butler. I don't know. A Filipino man for no reason? Why would I put a Filipino? I guess he can play one of the conehead people because they never specify what skin tone they were. So I guess we could do, you know, I don't know. Probably put I don't know. Trying to think who I know if that's Filipino that's famous. I don't know. We need a lot of niggas too. Nah, I don't want to put a lot of niggas because I want this to be focused on the white people. So I just want to put a few niggas in there. Now, obviously, I'm talking about main cast. I'm talking about the main cast. You know, there won't be any white people till later in the movie when he starts creating them. See, that's the thing. Though. I'm not gonna do the whole origin story of Yakub. I'm not doing the whole origin story. I'm gonna do like, you know, speed blitz the first part of the movie because nobody really cares about the origins for real. We'll just do like a little first 20 minutes of the movie will probably be his origins and how he's created. Fast forward through the school shits. We'll probably start. The movie's mainly gonna be like where he's actually creating the white people and the first white person to be born. You know what I'm saying? On some like fucking some bride shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. And then we're gonna have him building a spaceship as well because, you know, I need that scene. I need somebody to play as Moses though, so that would be, you know, that spot's still open. Maybe Demdris what's his name? Demdris no, he can't play Moses. I want Demdris I don't know how to say his last name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The nigga. I forgot his name. I forgot how to say his name, but that nigga. I want him in there. Jack Black for some reason. Yeah, dem some Idris or however you say his name. I want him in there. I want Jack Black in there. Jack Black has to be in there. I feel like that just makes sense. Don't ask me why. Jack Black's in everything, so I have to put Jack Black in there. Diddy Booty Jackson has to be in there. Rampage Jackson. I'm not putting Rampage Jackson in my Yakub story. Who the fuck is Rampage Jackson going to play? I want this to be serious. I'm not putting no fucking Rampage Jackson in there. Like, what the fuck? I want my story to be serious. I need to get like high level unknown actors and actresses in there. You know what I'm saying? Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we need one more white guy. You know what I'm saying? I want like a trio of white people. Or maybe we'll do a white woman. Maybe Haley Steinfeld. I know, you know what I'm saying? I'll put Haley Steinfeld in there because, you know. Or actually, you know, Warwick Davis. That name sounds familiar. Who is that? KSI definitely has to be Yakub though. It just makes sense. Because I feel like prosthetic is just not gonna. It's not gonna be a. I'm not putting this. Why the fuck would I put this nigga in here? Why in the hell would I put this nigga? Why would I put this man in this movie? I might as well put Hornswoggle in this movie. The lady from Swarm could be the mother. His mother. The black girl? Or the wait, whose mother? Yakub's mom? I don't know if I want to put her in a conehead. I would want her in the movie though. I'm not gonna lie. I would want her in the movie. Yeah, Dominique Fishback. I would want her in the movie. I don't know if I want to. I feel like this nigga actually might. Actually, he kind of look like an Albinite or whatever the fuck they're called. I might want to put him in there. I ain't gonna lie. I might put him in there. I'm not. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, because I watched this movie. I want. Where is he at? Where is he at? This nigga. This nigga look like an Albinite for sure. He look like an Albinite for sure. I could already picture him now. He's like one of the lower rank Albinites, bro. Like he gonna pop out of the shadow. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Master Yakub. I'm here to take on anything you want me to, Your Excellency. Like, bro, he already got it, bro. He already naturally looks like, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know what? Fuck it. We'll put Millie Bobby Brown in there. Or Finn Wolfhard. I want Finn Wolfhard in there, bro. Mm-hmm. He gotta be an Albinite for sure. For sure. We're gonna think more about the cast later though. We're gonna think more about the cast though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna think more about the cast. We're gonna get there. We're going to get there. Trust me, guys. We're going to get there. And it's gonna be a great movie for sure. You love Millie Bobby Brown. I feel like she has to be an Albinite. You know what I mean? It just makes sense, you know? You know what I'm saying? Feels like, you know what I mean? That's a star-studded cast. How much is this movie gonna be though? High key, what's my budget? Hold on. Wait. I didn't get my budget proof. How much is this budget, bro? Cause I'm just looking at this. That's a lot of A-list talent right there, buddy. That's a lot of A-list talent right there, buddy. Hell nah. Why am I taking this serious? Yakub.